2025. May I have a roll call, please?
Joe Brown,
Here.
Elliot Indig,
Here.
Aaron Schwartz,
Here.
Eric Tungate,
Here.
Brenda Richard, Clarence Johns,
Here.
Eric Love, Ian Cochran.
Here.
We have quorum.
We've had an opportunity to have now approval for the agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Moving on to approval of the minutes of the last meeting. What was the date of that meeting? January?
14th. It's like,
January 14th, did you say? Yes. 2025.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I just want to say I've missed you guys. It's been a whole year almost.
You didn't want us, so now we're here.
If we're a little rusty, you'll know why.
Who's a little rusty?
So if we're a little rusty, you'll know why.
Very good. Moving on to the public, any public comment? Did we approve?
Did we vote on the minutes?
We didn't vote.
We
on
We
it.
need to, we
Wait.
need a motion and a
Need
second.
a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I thought it was, ooh,
Yeah. There we go. Now we can hear you, Joe. There we go.
okay. We're looking for a public comment in the audience. We have some youth here. Maybe he wants to say something to us. His dad brought him so that he would learn what we do. Welcome, and soon to be in a higher grade. Thank you. Moving on to item 6, unfinished business. Item
Thank
A, Brownfield grant and the Brownfield plan. Is that Coruscant?
Corso.
Coruscant Building Ventures LLC update. May we have the update?
Yes, I just wanted to let you know, we submitted our last quarterly report to Eagle as of that date, which was at end of September of 2025. They've only expended $139,000, $237.60. There was a delay in actually doing a lot of the work. It was, again, stuck at the EPA once they found PCBs on site, and it took them a year and a half for review at the federal level. We now have approval, and they can proceed with the actual cleanup activities, which they're planning to do shortly here.
Question, does it normally take that long?
The last one was the WWJ building, and it took them 2.5 years for review.
Wow.
I guess they're getting quicker.
Thank you. Moving on to, you were breathing. Did you want something?
No.
Okay. We're moving on to A, new business. Or am I going to do the Brownfield grant?
Yeah, the new business would, first item is the Brownfield grant.
Okay,
I can walk you through that if you'd like.
please.
So Barton Mallow came to our planning commission recently. Over the last few years, they've acquired multiple properties along the 8 Mile corridor. Within those properties, they need to demolish several buildings, and contamination was found in the buildings and then on the property itself. So in order to do the development, they would like to clean up the property from the contamination and develop them into phase 1 of their project, which is 1 new building for the site. We approached Eagle and asked if they would support a grant. The maximum is $1 million, and they're planning to use that for demolition activities for one of the buildings that they will be demolishing. What we need from this body is approval and recommendation to send it off to Eagle after City Council approves it.
You said after city council approves it?
Yes.
Then we'll send it off, or does it come back to us again?
Nope, it will go after City Council, right to Eagle. The city applies on behalf of the applicant, which is Barton Mallow.
All right.
Mr. Chair. Kim, for clarification, so this is solely for the Eagle Grant Program, correct?
Correct.
And this is up to $1 million grant award program potentially?
Yes, we are asking for the full $1 million.
So is it safe to say that the Brownfield Board's approval of that grant application, then leading to the recommendation to go to City Council, assuming they affirmatively approve it, they submit that with their application, and that's a requirement of the program?
Actually, the city is the applicant on
City
the
is the
grant side.
applicant, gotcha.
And we will actually apply to Eagle. We've
On
already
their
been
behalf.
working with our Eagle representative on the application. She's already reviewed it and made some suggestions, which we did in the application. So once we submit it to Eagle, we anticipate that they will approve the grant.
Gotcha, thank you.
So you need from us an approval?
An approval and recommendation to City Council to approve.
May I have a recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
I need a,
I'll do a roll call.
please.
Elliot Indig,
Approved.
Aaron Schwartz,
Approved.
Eric Tungate,
Yes.
Clarence Johns,
Approve.
Eric Love, Ian Cochran,
Approve.
and Joe Brown.
Approved. What did I just hear before that?
Before, which part?
There was a comment.
There was
Did you
a
say
nay
you?
from Eric Love.
Oh, okay. He said nay.
Correct.
Okay.
Motion passes.
Motion passes. Thank you. Were we in that same situation where he needs to tell why he says the nay?
Only if you abstain. You don't have to say why you
Okay.
vote no.
Very good, because we had that problem. We want to be good about Robert's rules.
Can I ask one more clarifying question for Kim on that? Kim, I was intending to ask you this a moment ago. The city being the applicant for this, there is a 5% administrative fee the city can recover as part of that, correct?
On the grant side, yes.
Okay.
I think it was 5% that we put in there. Yeah, 5% we also have in for the actual Brownfield plan.
And so that covers the city's costs as it relates to the administrative oversight of the grant and distribution and so forth?
Correct.
Okay.
Is that enough?
Yes.
Historically, it's been enough.
Mhm.
Very good. So we have now given the application, the recommendation now goes to the city council.
Correct. We will take it to the city council meeting on December 18th.
Very good. Because I was looking down here, we did the recommendation at that point, and we talked about the project. So now we're to the financial report.
Actually, we have item B. There is a separate Brownfield plan that Barton Mallow is also applying for. So this is in two parts.
Oh, you threw me off, didn't you? Okay. Very-
It's just not listed that way on the agenda as of item B.
Yeah, it doesn't show an item B on the agenda.
I think because they're very similar, one says the Brownfield grant, one says the plan, but it has all the rest of the information is the same. So yeah, I understand that.
What do you need us to do?
So on this, the Brownfield plan is similar to what we've done in the past with Eaton Steel and the Showstack Armory site property. in order to make this development happen and for them to be able to clean up the environmental conditions on the property. They are requesting a brownfield plan so they can be reimbursed for those additional expenses to do their development. Their development is approximately $30 million and a little over, sorry, I need to get my notes here. They're looking at around $10 million reimbursement over the period of the brownfield plan, which they're anticipating would be fully reimbursed after 26 years. That will fluctuate, obviously, over time. Part of the brownfield plan does include the 5% administration fee, which would total over the life of the plan approximately $516,000. They're also adding in money to our revolving loan fund for the Brownfield Authority, which can be used for other projects anywhere within the city. That would also add an additional $516,000. And they are also asking, the interest rate would be 5% simple interest over the life of the project until they're fully reimbursed on this as well.
Mr. Chair.
Please.
Okay, first, I would be remiss if I didn't, because I know we have Barton Mallow people here, if I did not say how thankful we are here at the city for the investment that they're continuing to make in the city. We are so appreciative. It's awesome. Thank you very much for that. Kim, I think we need a little bit of an education on the eligible costs that we can be recovered as part of this. The numbers, the 10 million sounds very large, right? So it's a huge investment, up to $28 million on their end. The capture, though, so walk us through how that works in terms of eligible activities and so forth.
Yeah, so a lot of the eligible activities are to remove the hazardous building materials when they do the demolition on the property, as well as the actual demolition above and beyond what the grant will cover. They're going to address the soil and groundwater issues that they have. In my memo, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce some of these, but there's various chemicals that are within the soil that they'd like to have removed. And we do have somebody here. We have Troy from SME, who is the environmental company. I don't know, Troy, can you elaborate on those items?
Can you come up to the microphone? Yeah.
If the green light, there you
Hit the
go.
green light.
Oh, there we go. Now it's on. Troy Helmick with SME. There's a few different ways to look at the eligible costs. There's the environmental side and the non-environmental side. The environmental side, which is in addition to the Eagle grant, there's contaminants in the soil and groundwater from the previous use of the property. Those consist of metals that are beyond naturally occurring metals. There's chlorinated solvents. There's semi-volatile organic compounds in the soil and the groundwater, and those need to be managed and cleaned up for a due care purpose. So it's the use of the property during construction and as Barton Mallow wants to use it going forward. And that is a direct contact concern. There's ingestion. A lot of the surface area that they're going to have will not be paved. So some of it you could come in contact with it. There's a retention pond, so that has to be managed so that's not contaminants that get into the groundwater, get into the detention system, and then can go into our water system, then into our water bodies. So that's a large piece of that also.
Okay, Troy, I want to just ask you a couple questions. So thank you also for being here and for the work you're doing in our community, of course. So the pollution that we're talking about didn't occur at the hands of Barton Mallow. They
No,
inherited
they're
this as part of
non-liable parties. They completed all their due diligence, so they're non-liable parties.
So, I don't want to go too deep down this
Yeah.
wormhole, but so, communities like ours face this all the time because we're competing with greenfield sites that have never had any development on them at all if we're out in the far out suburbs versus here where we've had previous uses and there might be contamination in here. So for us to, let's call it win a project like this, in competition with other communities, we have to bring the property back up to a certain level, where we're all starting from the same starting line. My next question, though, is the contamination that exists was because of a previous industrial use, correct?
Yes, based on the history and the uses of the site, yes.
And the laws have, there's a question mark at the end of this, but the laws have changed now so that the current use, even though it's going to be mostly industrial in use in the new development, except for the retention pond.
Right.
Has to be at a higher, a cleaner level, let's call it, than previously, correct?
Yes, and that's what we call due care. It's a due care obligation. So Bart Mellow's not liable for any contamination that's on the property, but they do have a due care obligation to the public and for their workers. So that's where all this cost is really stemmed from, is because of Bart Mellow's obligation to clean up the area and make it safe for these different pathways.
Gotcha, thank you.
Any other questions?
There's no liability that can be attached to the individuals or the entities that dispose of the hazardous material, whether it's the adjacent properties that it may have migrated from or the prior owner of that property?
That is an environmental attorney question. Of course, there's liability, but the reality is what is the cost, what is the time from development to go after those entities? And some of those entities may not exist anymore, so you're just chasing ghosts.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a,
City manager?
so Troy, I don't know if this question is to you or to Kim, but, so, let's assume for a second that, we get in there, or they get in there, and they figure out, you guys get in there, I should say, and you figure out that the contamination is not at the level that you thought it was. So the costs are less. What happens in a reimbursement situation then, Kim?
So whenever they're going to be reimbursed, they have to submit their eligible expenses. So if they turn out to be lower than what was anticipated, then that's how they'd get reimbursed. So these numbers will fluctuate over time based on what they find when they get in there.
Okay, and then as far as, we're gonna talk about this, I think, here in our annual report and the next item on our agenda, but as far as any leftover funds that are not used, the Brownfield Authority gets to roll over, correct?
So yes, if they get reimbursed before the full 30 years, which they're already anticipating to be fully reimbursed after year 26, we can roll the remainder of those funds into the revolving loan fund for our Brownfield Authority.
And just to clarify, the city, and people are probably, as you look at some of these numbers, I know as if I were a taxpayer, I'd be wondering, why doesn't the city just use this to go hire 2 new officers? Well, there are limitations on what these funds can be used for, right? So
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah.
It can only be used for Brownfield-related expense.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I had a question. Ian Cochran, thank you for your time here. I think it said that you guys had taken 4 core samples of the property of the 9.75 acres.
There's been prior assessments before the last few years. There's probably been 100 soil samples and 50 groundwater samples collected across these parcels in order for us to come up with the numbers that you see within the eligible activities in order to provide value and context to what those are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of the ones that you've seen, what confidence level do you have in that we will use the full $30 million?
That was a loaded question.
Yeah.
I would say that we approach these, and don't take this out of context, it's almost like a worst case scenario. Like if we went in here and we thought, what's the worst case we're gonna see? Is there a likelihood that the reimbursement will be less than the $10.1 million? Possibly. But like you said, we don't know until we get in there. We've spent a lot of time, you can see there's a lot of detail in these estimates. We've done a lot of these within our group, so we have a very good confidence of what the eligible activities are. The estimates and the unit rates on there are solid because Bart Mello bids them out, and then we also have education from what we're seeing from around the community as far as what some of the costs are. So our confidence on the numbers is very high, but will it be 10.1 million? Probably not. Will it be 9.5 million? Probably. So hopefully that answers your question.
Thank you.
But do we have a good reimbursement process when they look to get that money? So we will be making sure at that point that it will be audited so that we know exactly what we are supposed to give them, what they qualify for. Isn't that correct?
That is accurate, yes. In our past brownfield plans, since SME did the initial work, we typically hire another environmental company to review the eligible expenses and make sure that they are accurate before we do reimbursement.
Very good. Is that the concern?
I have another question.
Go ahead.
Kim, I think this one might be for you too, but maybe not. Maybe you too. In the Brownfield plan part of the packet, and commissioners, that's this part of it I'm looking at here. It does say that the cost for the Brownfield remediation is about 6.6 million. The Brownfield reimbursement, however, is 10 million and some change. And is that, the clarifying question I have, is that because of the 5% interest added to it for the full amortization of that money, or how does that, why is there a difference there?
That's a portion of it, and
Okay.
then we do have some non-eligible activities like demolition and
Oh, gotcha.
some of the
Okay.
development activities because we're a core community that qualify as well.
I see. So those are added on plus the 5% captured?
Correct.
Okay, plus the admin
Correct.
as well, okay.
Yep,
And
and
the
the
admin
revolving
goes
loan
to
fund,
the
yeah.
Brownfield, to the Brownfield,
Correct.
okay. And then, what was my other question, geez?
Write it down.
Yeah, getting old. This, as far as it relates to diverting tax dollars from the city government, its general fund, can you speak a little bit to that process and how that works? Because this is collected as part of a TIF, correct?
Correct. So the way the TIF works is we're still going to collect what they've been paying on all of those properties to date, but that number will remain constant over the life of the Brownfield plan. And anything that they owe above and beyond that, based on the new development going there, would be reimbursed when they submit for their eligible expenses. So every year they'll pay the higher tax bill, but the difference between what they pay today, which is roughly $125,000, can be reimbursed to them on an annual basis.
Up to the,
Up to the maximum.
up to the
Yep.
maximum, but only for eligible costs.
Correct.
Yeah.
Just because I have to ask this question, does everybody understand what a TIF is? We all do? Just want to make sure. Next question I have for you.
Mhm.
For the record, do I not have to read in the project numbers?
No,
Okay.
no, mm-mm. No, those are just addresses, and we don't need those read into the record.
And the recommendation for the Brownfield plan itself, does this now go to city council if it's approved?
Yes.
It still has to go through that process?
Yes,
Okay.
and there's been a public notice that was put in the newspaper and also mailed out to every property within 300 feet of
Okay.
the site. So it'll be a public hearing at city council.
Gotcha.
Any other questions or comments? There not being any. So what we have done now is we've okayed it to be going to the city council.
As long as you get a motion in a second, and we do a roll call vote, and they say yes.
Very good. That's what I want to know about the process. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
I have a second.
Second?
May I have a roll call?
Yes. Aaron Schwartz,
Yes.
Eric Tungate,
Yes.
Clarence Johns,
Yes.
Eric Love, Ian Cochran,
Approve.
Joe Brown,
Approved.
Elliot Indig.
Approved.
Motion passes.
Congratulations. We're on our way again. because we want to keep it abreast with the city. What else do we need other than, you finished the financial report? So board members' comment. This is an
Mr.
opportunity.
Chair,
Go ahead.
can I go back to the financial report? I have a question to ask Kim and Michelle. The money that we have in this account is rollover funds.
Yes, so that's approximately $253,000 we have in the fund to date that we could do as a revolving loan, or it can also be used by the city for demolition activities for
Okay,
projects.
that's what I was gonna ask. So even if the properties are city-owned properties, it doesn't have to be a privately owned?
Correct,
We can.
yes.
So this can be assistance, could we, is that a grant the city is doing then essentially then?
Yes,
Or
the
does that-
city can request a grant. So one thing I was gonna tell this body is that we'll probably be meeting again in the near future. The city has purchased a building that we did find to have a lot of contamination that we hope to redevelop, so that we may put that in as a potential incentive for a developer to come in and clean up the property and do a mixed-use development.
Do you know how much that would cost to demolish approximately? I mean, I do, I just want you to say it though.
I'm thinking it's gonna be around 200,000,
Okay.
and that's a guess.
But you just said you knew. Please.
Yes, I did.
Is her estimate good?
It is.
Okay.
We have the best economic development person in the whole state of Michigan, so you better trust what she
Watch
says.
it. We already got Detroit taking you. They'll take her next. Any other comment? If not, we are adjourned.
Thank you. That's a huge project, man. That's exciting.
Is it?
It is.